All right, joined now by Big E. And Big E, I got to start. A week ago, we saw you in the ring at the beginning of Money in the Bank. What was that feeling like?
It was cool. It was just for a little hit for the countdown show. But even just being, I think the cool part for me was being out, even though there weren't a ton of fans in the arena. But even getting some love again was very, very cool. So it's nice being back. You know, it's something that I've been doing for now 15 years, and it kind of feels like a second home in many ways.
I know everybody kind of has to ask you every time you talk, but where are you health-wise and everything you've been through?
So now we're at 2 years and running since I broke my neck. So I broke my neck, my C1 in two places, my C6 as well. I feel great. I have no issues with pain, no issues with discomfort, weakness, any of those things. My strength is great. The only issue is my neck, my C1 is healing fibrously, which is great for normal day-to-day life, but it's not turning into new bone. It's not ossifying yet, and so they're not going to clear me until that happens. It's obviously a very important bone. So right now, that's kind of the waiting game. I did go down to Cancun about a month ago for stem cells, so we'll see if that changes anything. But yeah, right now, I feel great. It's just I'm not in a position to be cleared quite yet.
That's good. You've been doing a lot of other things for WWE, the Campus Rush. You're here at Big 12 Media Days. How has that adjustment been to kind of being an ambassador for the company?
It's been great. For me, years ago, I said, really, the only thing I really want to do in the company was be a performer, was to be a wrestler. But now, as you get older, your perspective shifts. And I think some of the new things that we're doing, like Campus Rush, are things that I gravitate to. My first love was college football. Like, I've always loved college football, and being able to work in college football has been such a blessing. And two, I love that I can speak to the fact that, we're going to these campuses and to these universities, and we're talking to athletes who are in a very similar position as me, who are looking at their athletic careers being over, their collegiate careers coming to an end soon. And now what? You spend so much time and effort involved in this pursuit, and then one day it just stops. And for me, I was so grateful that WWE came along, because I felt like there was this big void when I was done with all my injuries at Iowa, and I wanted to do more athletically. And I'm so glad that I had WWE to then pour myself into. So I just love being around college football, and to be able to do that with WWE, a company that has really changed my life for the better, and to be able to go out and do things in college football has been kind of a dream,
When the neck injury happened in Birmingham, of all places, probably the most fortunate place for that to happen, how worried were you at the time? How quickly did you realize, all right, this isn't going to be a permanent thing, or what was that kind of process figuring out what was going on?
It's not that I didn't take it seriously, but, initially, immediately, I never had a concussion. I didn't go out. I moved my fingers and toes with no issue whatsoever. I wasn't in any kind of pain. So I'm thinking, it's not that bad. It really wasn't until I got to the hospital and they examined me and they tell me, look, you were this close to possible paralysis, stroke, death. If it wasn't for having a column of a neck, things could have been very, very different for me. So if anything, more than anything, it made me grateful. Like, I was so grateful that I wasn't dead, that I wasn't paralyzed, that I didn't have a stroke. More than anything, that was kind of my takeaway. So I really, initially, I didn't think much of it. And then it was just in the coming few months. And too, originally, the diagnosis was 3 months. It was, hey, we'll have you in a hard collar for, I think, 6 weeks, and then do some rehab, and you should be good to go. But the bone didn't end up healing the way they thought it could. So it's really just been a bit of an adjustment. But honestly, more than anything, and I owe a lot of this, I feel like, to mindfulness, to meditation, which I really got into once the pandemic started, is it really just helped my state of mind, because instead of thinking about all the things that I didn't have anymore, all the things that I'd lost, I thought about all the things that I still was blessed to have in my life. I could still walk, I could still work, I can do so many incredible things. So the focus wasn't woe is me, it wasn't about all the opportunities lost, it was just about gratitude, and that's still my perspective right now.
Obviously, injuries derailed your football career and a lot of potential there. Was it tough to kind of be like, an injury again is keeping me from doing what I wanted to do when I found this new thing that you're so good at, you'd reached the pinnacle of, to have a second kind of potentially sport-ending injury? How do you kind of get through that?
Here's the thing is, I realized I'm hard-headed. Apparently, I need an injury to give me some kind of a wake-up of sorts. My perspective wasn't, it really, people ask me if I had hard days, and honestly, I really didn't. More than anything, again, just that focus of being grateful. And, injuries happen. It's a part of what we do. More than anything, I'm just grateful to have walked away, being able to walk away. Mm-hmm. And that was my focus. So I really, I had the issues with injuries in college, and that was a bummer. And I don't think I was in the right state of mind to be able to handle that well. But I'm so grateful to be in a position where, and I felt like I had a grasp of my mental health, and I was really just, instead of thinking about like, hey, my career might be over, it was, how do we pivot? Because it's life. Unfortunate things are going to happen. But to me, it's always, okay, here are the set of circumstances you're being given. What now? What do you do with this? And if I spent time wallowing in self-pity or spending time in anger, that does me no good. It doesn't benefit me whatsoever. So that's kind of just been the focus of, okay, you're not cleared to be in the ring right now. What do you do with your life? What do you do with your existence? And I've been blessed to have so many other opportunities come up. So it's just, for me, it's just kind of been about shifting my focus and my energies and trying some different things, and having new challenges has actually been pretty fun.
You're obviously a very in shape, fit guy. Has there been any limitations with training?
No. I mean, for me, I was out the first 2 weeks. I was told, like, hey, probably shouldn't work out. But beyond that, I stayed in a neck brace for the next 2.5 months, and I was working out fairly normally. I didn't squat with a bar on my back when I was in a neck brace, but beyond that, everything else was pretty normal. So I was really, really grateful, because I've been working out since I was 12 years old, and I think I would have lost it a little bit. That would have been a lot harder for me if I was not able to be in the gym. So no real restrictions there at all.
You've been doing more on commentary desks, pre-shows and stuff like that. Do you seem to have a good rapport with Wade Barrett or CM Punk when you're on there? How have you have you enjoyed doing that?
Yeah, I have. When I tell people, when I first started wrestling, I really gravitated towards the physical aspect of it. But the last several years, it was more the storytelling. It was characters, it's promos. That's the stuff that I really enjoy. And it's great to have a guy like Punk, who is a divisive figure, but someone that I've called a friend for a long time now. And, Wade, I've known Wade for 15 years, so to be on the desk with people I know and would consider friends has been a blessing. And I think the product being in such a good place and being interesting and having some great things to talk about has been great. And honestly, like I think back to where it all started was here in Vegas. The first thing, they actually asked me, hey, can you come out to Vegas? I didn't even know what I was doing. I was on the plane, like, oh, actually we have this panel. Do you want to be a part of it? So being here for The Rock, Cody, Seth Rollins, Presser, that was a lot of fun. And I thought, oh, if I get to feel like a fan again, if I'm excited about what I'm watching and I can speak passionately and honestly about what I'm seeing and people seem to enjoy it, then hey, I'll keep doing it. And that's always been the thing for me, is at 38 years old, I want to do things that are fulfilling, that are fun. And as long as I'm continuing to enjoy them and I feel like I can bring something to the table, then I'll keep signing up for it.
In the ring, Kofi and Xavier have been having some, I don't know if issues is the right word, but there's been some pulling apart. Where do you see the two of them right now, both individually and as the New Day tag team still?
Yeah, obviously those are my brothers for life, but they're at a bit of a crux. I feel like we have spent so much time at the top of the tag division, Kofi being world champion. I got an opportunity to be world champion. Woods is king of the ring. And, now after the run in NXT, I feel like it's now like, where do we fit here? And now the stuff with Karrion Kross and kind of that direction, I feel like it's a bit of a crossroads for them, figuring out what they want to do. And it was always a trio. We always feel like we did things together. But in many ways, I feel like this is, I don't want to say on them. I haven't left them. There's still that. But I feel like this is something that they need to go through, something that they need to handle as well and figure out. Kofi's in his 40s now. Woods is in his late 30s. But I still think they have a ton more to offer. And whether they do that as a collective, whether they do that in singles, it's now, I feel like it's an interesting time for them to see which direction they go.
What do you think the legacy of the New Day is you guys came together at a certain time, random time, and it turned into such a big thing, 2 world championships. What do you kind of look at the legacy of the New Day?
It's interesting because in many ways, I just feel like we were 3 guys who were having a ton of fun together, and we're trying to make each other laugh. And it's difficult for me to talk about legacy because I feel like I'm too close to it. But I'll have times to, Javon Evans, I think, is someone who's supremely talented. Such a big fan of his work. And he's, 20 years old? He's so young. I just ran into him right before the PLE in Toronto. And, I saw an interview he did, a snippet, where he talked about us and our influence. And what he mentioned was that he saw us as guys who were ourselves, and it kind of was the first time he realized you could be yourself in the ring. And I've heard that from other talent as well, and if that's our legacy, that's something I'm supremely proud of. That is something that I wanted us to show other performers, is you don't have to fit in these boxes that they so typically constrain you in. And you can be weird, you can be goofy, you can be askew, you can be a little bit different than the rest of the field. So if we helped inspire people to be more unique, to be more themselves, to bring their nerdiness to the ring, whatever it is, that's something I'm proud of. So I always feel like legacy is something that other people should decide. I'm not sure that's something that I should be deciding. But I'm really proud of what we did. More than anything, I feel like we're 3 guys who always cared about each other. We never did anything to put ourselves ahead of the group, and I think that's a big part of our success. We always wanted to make sure there was never a leader. Kofi and I got the opportunities to be in the ring early on, and we knew there had to be moments where Woods got to really shine. And that's what I love about us, is the selflessness. I feel like we got so much out of our group because of that. It became a revolving door where, okay, it's Wood's time to shine. Now it's Kofi's time to shine. Now it's my time to really shine. And I think that really just gave us so much more legroom. It gave us more room to keep running, to keep trying new things. And we have 3 tag teams in one group too. So, with the Usos as well, it wasn't the same 2 every single time. And I think us all bringing different things to the table really helped a ton. So yeah, man, more than anything, I'm just proud of what we did. And we were just 3 guys trying to save our careers and ended up doing something pretty special.
How do you feel about Iowa football this year? Going into a new Big Ten, new offensive coordinator?
Yes.
How do you feel about Iowa right now?
So I was just in Iowa last week, and a good friend of mine, Joe Conklin, former Iowa DB, he's in the athletic department now. I got to talk to some people at the university. People are excited. I think the offense that Tim Lester is going to bring, I truly, this is the most excited I've been about the offense in a while. And look, the really cool thing for me, selfishly, is not only is this the program that I played for, but it's the same head coach. Phil Parker, who just won the Broyles Award, recruited me in 2004. Abdul Hodge is the tight ends coach, was a teammate of mine and someone that I always looked up to. So many people connected with the program that I knew 20 years ago are still here, still doing incredible things. So I will always root for my alma mater. I'm excited. And also, the Ohio State game is the one, it's a road game. Beyond that, and I'm not saying that's not winnable, but the rest of the schedule looks very manageable. And in a 12-team playoff, I think we truly have a shot at making this. And look, honestly, if we go from the 133rd ranked offense to even the 90th ranked offense or the 80th ranked offense, that alone could be enough of a boost to get us into the playoff and to be competitive in the conference. So I'm excited about Iowa football this year. I believe we're one of the oldest defenses. We have so many returning starters coming back. There's a lot of excitement. And the people I've talked to who know Tim and have talked to Tim Lester, they really believe in what he's bringing. I love the stuff that I've heard, even just about more shifts and giving defenses different looks. So I am really looking forward to it. I think the defense will be great. I think it'll be a great year for Iowa football. I'm hoping 11-1, get to the Big Ten title game again, and a playoff run. That's the goal.
Big E, it was good to see you in the ring last week. Good to see you around. Good to see you in person. Thanks for the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.